so glad that Tim came in today, because I think that this story would transfer far better in person than on the phone. So, Tim, are you living like in Sarasota or close nowadays?
I am. I'm pretty close, about 50 minutes away.
Well, Tim, I'm kind of mad at you because of what you did, but obviously you paid your debt. Much like, I find it odd that Michael Vick can go and, kill dogs and, all you did was bet on games and maybe have fixed a few things. But, Tim, Michael Vick goes out and kills animals and is a real son of a bitch. And now he's, given a new lease on life, and they're giving him the key to stupid-ass cities. And
he almost made the Madden cover.
Well, yeah. And Tim, you've been ostracized and almost, been made to be the bad guy, and you're a dick, and everybody hates you, and David Stern wants you killed in the whole 9 yards. And it's amazing how America picks and chooses to give a second chance. This guy did something bad, didn't kill anybody.
No.
Went and did his time. They tried to bury him on his book, tried everything they could not to get the book come out. And he's still, Tim, you're kind of the bad guy still, aren't you?
I am. I think little by little it's getting better. I'm doing some things now that people understand through the book. And, it is getting better. It's not as bad.
But see, in the book, you don't ever make any excuses either. I mean, you don't say from I don't know, the half an hour I spent with it. I mean, it's not like you're saying, well, you don't make any excuses. I mean, you kind of do a man's man approach on the deal, which I find it refreshing.
I don't think there's any excuses to make. I mean, obviously I screwed up, pretty bad. So it's a situation where I think I just need to admit what I did was wrong and, try to turn, the whole situation into a positive.
Now, do you look at yourself like the bad guy? A lot of these guys, even some of these guys that are in prison for defrauding people from their life savings and things of that nature, they go, well, okay, I did something wrong, but it's really not that big of a deal. How do you
like a Bernie Madoff kind of deal?
Yeah, they're like, okay, I get it, I did something wrong, but do I really belong here? Like, do you see yourself as the bad guy?
I do. I think they tried to paint me as the bad guy because if you really read the book and realize what I did and how I did it, it was a situation where the system was had some flaws to it.
Right.
And with that system,
So you took advantage of the system that they gave to you?
I did. I took advantage of knowing what was going to take place in a lot of these games, and because I enjoyed gambling so much, I was able to place winning bets.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, one of the things I think.
By the way, Tim Donaghy from Personal Foul. How well the book doing, Tim?
The book's doing good. It's actually in its 5th printing, so
good.
It's been doing very.
You got
very
the over
well.
or the under on the printing?
I got the over. It's going to keep on selling.
Spice, over to you. You know we're ball busters, so don't get mad at us, Tim.
I'm not. Trust me.
Spice, over to you. If you could, for some people out there that are listening that might not know or be familiar with what exactly point shaving is, can you explain to them briefly in sort of a concise way what exactly you did wrong?
Well, first of all, I didn't do any point shaving.
Okay.
What I did was I used the system that the NBA had in place to place winning bets on games, and it was a system where they allowed the referees to have positive and negative relationships that existed between the referees and the coaches, referees and the owners, and referees and the players. And I took that and I looked at the point spread, and then I would create my own point spread to it. And if it was different from what was in the newspaper, I would tell people to bet the games.
So, Tim, I mean, were you more guilty of the personal money that you made on, because you could control a game, or are you more guilty of, telling others how to bet, or both? I mean,
I think it was all wrong, but I think the thing is that, I told people how to bet, and it wasn't something where I was making a lot of money.
Right.
But what they were doing is transferring to other people behind my back that were making millions of dollars.
And probably the stakes, if you delay, I don't even know, if you delay, 1,000 on a game or 500, there might be laying millions on it. Or by the time it's all, by the rippling effect of your data, I mean, it could have been to the two. Did you ever have any type of due diligence with regards to, like, if, once your information got out, how much the frontline bet might have been on that game?
The FBI agents told me that the people associated with organized crime were betting millions of dollars on the games, and that's.
But now, Tim, was it a lock? Did you ever freak out as you're reffing a game, and you have it going one way? Let's say you had the Pistons and the Pacers, and you get the Pacers -5, and that's what you've laid. That's what you've told everybody. That's what you've laid out, and you see the game or were you trying to screw him so bad in the third that it wasn't even? Or did you ever get like freaking out like it's 2 minutes left and you know that you are not on the right side of your line?
No, because we won 70 to 80% of the time, and I discuss this a lot on the Sports Connection, a radio show that I'm on right now with Danny B, who's a sports handicapper.
Right.
And it's not a situation we're going to win every night, but 70 to 80%, you can make millions of dollars.
Oh
betting.
yeah. Oh, by far. I mean, by far. You only need to be 55 to 60%.
Exactly.
And for all of us who have bet on games, we know to win 70, 80 to 80% of the time is impossible.
Now, Tim, let me ask you a
do.
question. For all that who've bet on games, and does it solidify, all of our conspiracy theories when we're sitting there and we're watching an NBA game and be like, are you kidding? How in the hell does a guy miss that? Or how in the hell does that guy call that? Does it solidify, the weekend warrior who's got, a nickel on the game when it's just out of the blue, a guy will get, 3 seconds, get a foul, does it solidify that? The fact that
it does. And like I say in the book, it's a situation where relationships came into play, positive and negative. Referees wanted to stick it to certain players, certain owners, and certain coaches at times.
And it really that does happen, doesn't it? I mean, like, you and the boys would get together and say such and such is a dick. Before the game, we're playing, we get 76ers at the Knicks, and Iverson's a dick. I'm going to tic-tac the crap out of him. Is that what you're speaking about, Tim?
Absolutely, no doubt about it. I mean, it was discussed many times during, lunch, during dinner, during a few beers that,
yeah.
Next time I get this son of a bitch,
he's done.
He's going to realize that,
done.
He shouldn't have messed with me.
Who was that player? There was that one guy that you just had it out for.
There was a lot of, like I said, positive and negative relationships. No secret that.
But when you say positive, Tim, though, it can happen on the other way where you give a guy a break,
Oh, absolutely. I mean, some people, for example, liked Allen Iverson and some people hated him,
How did you feel about him?
I liked him. I liked Allen Iverson. Now, somebody like Rasheed Wallace, I didn't like.
Now,
Well, he's a
I
dick
wanted
anyway.
to ask you. I wanted to ask you about that.
Rasheed tried to kick his ass.
Yeah, there was a confrontation. You called attack on Rasheed during a game, and then out at the ramp behind there,
Rasheed, all ghetto fabulous, came up to stick him.
Now, did he threaten you? Did he physically threaten you?
Oh yeah, he was had his fist raised up in the air. Told me he was going to kick my
Listen,
ass.
cracker bitch, I'm gonna kick your ass.
Exactly, and that's what it came down to. And I was hoping people grabbed him a little quicker than what they did, but it took a while. And definitely saw my life flash in front of me.
By the way, Tim Donaghy, his new book is Personal Foul, a first-person account of a scandal that rocked the NBA. Now, Tim, how long did you go to prison for?
I was sentenced to 15 months, and I did about 14 months.
Okay. Was that local? Did you do that in Ocala?
No, I did that in Pensacola, and I did it in Hillsborough and Hernando County.
All right. And then you get to go to a halfway house thereafter, or you just done?
Real briefly, but after I was done, I was done. I was at a halfway house, and they actually violated me and threw me in the county jail, saying that
For what?
They said I was at a health club, and I didn't have permission to be there when I, in fact, did. So
rather than to be a crack house or the dollhouse, you're at a health club.
Right.
And they're going to violate you for being at the health club.
Right.
Now,
sent me back. Actually, was in solitary confinement for 15 days because of that.
That sucks.
Would you consider your time a hard time, or was it pretty easy in the pen?
I think the beginning it was pretty easy, but at the end when they threw me in the county jail, it was
Tougher?
extremely difficult. I mean, I was in there with people that were in there for
Killing
attempted
people.
murder, beating up people with baseball bats.
Now, Tim, you speak of obviously some of the negative relationships player-wise, Rasheed Wallace being one. Who else could you? I mean, can you say that you just that you hated?
I mean, there was just players that made officials' nights a living hell. Steven Jackson, Ron Artest,
Artest.
all the people you read about. They're the
lunatic.
ones right
Now,
there.
I would imagine you obviously made some good relationships with the other referees over the years. Now, once you're ousted and you do this whole thing, all those relationships, I would imagine, are severed, right? You can't have any contact with your friends from the league, or can you?
I can, and I do speak to some people, some owners, some referees, and some players.
Now,
but
does that freak the league out? I mean, if the league knew the refs that you were still talking to, do you think they would be upset?
Absolutely. I'm sure they're, definitely warned to stay as far away from me as possible.
Now, these
because of,
referees, the refs that you're talking to, aren't they afraid? Aren't they going to be like, hey, look, Tim, I love you, but let's just not have any more contact. I got to keep my gig.
Yeah, but I mean, they're
Right.
being dick. I mean, they're just being Tim's. They don't. Does the
But if
NBA check your cell phone records as to who you're calling?
Not anymore. And, the thing is that, like I said, with what I'm doing now, there's certainly a situation where they want them talking to me because I'm dealing with this guy Danny B, a sports handicapper who's giving out picks.
Yeah, speaking of, what are you doing now? You're doing that. You're giving picks.
I am. Well, I'm not basically giving picks right now because I'm still on probation. But I work for a sports.
You're not giving picks yet.
I'm working for a sports handicapper, Danny B at DannyB.info. He's a guy that is like a stockbroker. He advises people on what he feels is a
What's
good
his
pick.
percentage, Tim? Is he 70-30? Is he 60-40?
He does very, very well. I'm not really on the inside of that right now because, like I said, I'm still on probation. So he does that, and I just kind of educate him and advise him on a daily basis. And I know he does very, very well.
Now, in how many years were you NBA referee?
13.
So 13 years out of the. So you saw the Jordans, and who was the guy that got, whether it was mandated from the league or whether it was amongst the referees, who was the golden child? Was it Jordan? I mean, because it always looked like he took an extra 2.5 steps. It always looked like,
2.5, 3.5.
Yeah, I mean, he started walking at the half court line. I mean, Was it Michael?
No doubt about it. I mean, when he was at the prime of his game, I was kind of a young referee, and the older guys used to just say, hey, listen, if he goes through the lane and you're really not sure what happened because everything happened so fast,
call a foul.
And he misses the shot, just call the foul because somebody had to hit him for him to miss.
Pick a black guy to charge it on. Right.
Now, there was one ref I wanted to ask about. If a team got way ahead, he would start calling fouls.
Dick Bavetta, I think it was.
Dick Bavetta, you're right.
Yeah, in the book.
In the book, it says that he would start calling fouls on the team that was winning to tighten up the game, which, of course, would affect the spread.
He was one of those big company guys that, wanted everything to be good for TV. And
or tight.
Yeah, for the league, and that was having something very competitive. If a team got up 20, that team.
That's not good for the game.
Not good for the game. People left the TV stations and tuned into something else. So he would, give that team less calls and give the team that was down.
Would that reflect on Dick? Because were you guys ever judged or graded by TV ratings? Like if a certain game did better ratings, would they say, well, we're going to use that crew? And so that would be almost. I'm just really reaching, but would Dick be doing that as a company guy? But would he also be doing it for personal gain because? Well, it might be a higher rated game if it's a 2-point game, 3-point game with a few minutes left compared to a blowout.
Well, the bottom line is, they put certain referees on certain games based upon what they did through their career, and Dick Bavetta was put on games, through the league office, so that if it was a 4th or 5th game in a series, they wanted it to go 6 or 7 games, and it was no secret. I write about that at length in the book, and the FBI through an investigation determined that was definitely true.
So did that come down? Mandated from the office, from the NBA office, where they'd say, hey, whether they get a hold of you or Dick or the head referee and say, hey, listen, it's Celtics, what such and such, or even Celtics Lakers or whatever. We can't have this a game 5. We got to have a game 7 out of here. For ratings,
they never come down and do something like that. But what they do is they send somebody from the league office in to have a meeting with the referees, and they'll go over previous plays and previous games. And they'll show you things that they want called in that next game, which always went to the benefit of the team that was down in the series.
What about the Lakers-Kings series in 2002, where everybody remembers the Kings almost beat the Lakers?
Should have.
I'm a Laker fan. They should have.
Because you're a cheater.
But the Lakers got all the calls in Sacramento to send the series back.
Right.
And Tim, were you on that crew, Tim?
No, I wasn't, but Bavetta was. And,
right.
We talked about that before that game took place. And, he was very adamant and clear that, Sacramento was definitely not going to get the benefit of a lot of calls because they were up in that series and it forced a game 7.
They were
up. They win that game. They go on.
Yeah.
The Lakers go home. But because of Bavetta.
And not only do they win that game and the Lakers go home, but they win the championship.
Right.
Exactly. Because
Didn't they win on one of the, I think it might have been game 7. Wasn't it a 3-pointer from Jorge?
From Horace.
From Horace, yeah. Yeah.
Now, isn't it
Ori?
Is it easy for you to
Robert Ori?
Right.
Ori. Yeah.
Is it easy for you to look at a game right now and go, okay, something's up in this game? Like, can you spot it now?
I still can spot it. I tape a lot of games and watch them, and like I said, working for Danny B at Sports Connection.
Now, what's that internet? Tim, what's that internet address at Danny B?
www.dannyb.info.
So you can watch it and say, "Oh man, there's something in the woodpile around here. There ain't something right."
No, and it projects what's going to take place in the next game, calls that are missed and things that are let go, and how they'll correct that the next game.
Now, what's your? Now, I know you're sort of involved, but you're not involved entirely with the Danny B thing, and you're not necessarily making the calls, right? So do you ever keep a side sheet and go, okay, well, if I was given my picks, here's what I'd be at. I'd be at 70%. I'd be at 80%. Where are you in your range when picking them?
I last year on a radio station out of Dallas and Miami during the playoffs, I picked the games 13 correct and 2 wrong during the playoffs until probation cut me off.
Tim,
that knock on the door is not
13
good.
and 2. Tim Donaghy, boy, and that's a moneymaker right there. Tim Donaghy, he's the guy that did some federal prison time. His book is called Personal Foul, a first-person account of the scandal that rocked the NBA. This guy did prison time, written a book about it, and it's been seen on 60 Minutes. Tim, who would you say that the NBA would want, or looking at this year's, obviously now I don't think the NBA would probably want the Magic down, 3-1 against the Hawks right now. Can you see? You got Dwight Howard. You got probably.
Do they want LeBron in the finals?
Yeah. Do they want LeBron in the finals?
No,
do they want a LeBron-Kobe matchup?
No doubt about it. That's what they want. And on the website with Danny B, I made some predictions for who I felt was going to advance in the playoffs through the first round, so people can visit that and see what I felt was going to take place. And no doubt about it, they like these big market teams like L.A., Miami with the studs. It's a global game, and that's what draws the worldwide attention.
So you think in every sport that there's some kind of meeting. The same type of meeting you're talking about. So in hockey, they're going to say, hey, watch, these guys, if they're down,
basically,
that kind of thing.
Tim, if it was
in every sport.
If it happened,
I can only speak for what I know, and,
Tim,
that's the basketball.
But I know you. But I mean,
to speculate.
To speculate, if it happened in your sport, and I mean, there's probably, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, but there's probably 10 Donaghys in every sport. I mean.
You can't be the only one, is what we're saying.
Right. I mean, you're not that special.
I mean,
Tim.
when you talk about the NFL, do I think that they, give Tom Brady the benefit of keeping the lineman off him versus a lesser star-studded quarterback? Absolutely. I think if you get near Tom Brady and hit him up near the head, the flag's going to come out a lot quicker than if it's somebody else.
Now, how much money did you make personally off this whole deal? After it was all said and done, how much money were you up?
Not enough.
I mean, really? I mean, what are we talking, $1 million, $2 million? What are we talking?
No, I was basically getting $2,000 a game. It was the people associated with organized crime that were making the millions of dollars.
So really, you didn't even do it properly. I mean, you did do it properly, but if you really wanted to looking back on it, you had to kind of retweak your scheme and go, man, if I would have done it this way, I could have been a whole lot more successful, right?
Hell yeah.
Now, Tim, speaking about organized crime, did that world ever get to you and scare you where, you give those guys an inch and they take a mile, so they know they got an in with you, and the stakes start getting higher and higher? Did they ever, try to intimidate you because they had, a lot of money on a particular game? Did they ever try to get a hold of you?
They did get a hold of me. It happened where I stopped gambling with a buddy of mine, and he was transferring the picks over to the people in organized crime. And when I stopped,
and you cut him off.
I cut him off. I was picked up outside a hotel in Philadelphia and taken for a ride, and basically told that things were going to continue.
How did that go down? I mean, were you just standing out? Were you on a game in Philly and you were just literally outside? How do you get picked up? I mean, do they just scoop you up?
They didn't scoop me up, but I was invited to go out to dinner with a high school friend of mine, and when I got into the car, somebody else was in the car, and basically he said that he known what was going on for the last year or two, and that I was going to continue to transfer the picks to him, or they would expose me to the NBA, or worse yet, have somebody visit my wife and kids in Florida.
Now, when you say organized crime,
now you know what? It's funny because
wow,
me and a friend of mine that used to bet on sports, we used we used to say, "I'll bet you the mob goes to these referees and go, I know where your kids go to school, I know where your wife is, and here's what you're going to do." Is that actually happened?
Tim Donaghy just solidified it.
Yeah, that's what they insinuated to me. But I knew they had me because of what I'd done in the past. So I figured if I gave them the picks for a couple more months at the end of the year,
leave you alone.
Yeah, it would be done. But we all
now
know.
organized crime.
But
You talking one of the big families, or is this sort of an offshoot?
Well, it's got to be one of the big families.
It's a Gambino crime family that the FBI agents were investigating, and that's how it all trickled down to me.
And they probably love this because this was a hell of a lot, less, as cocaine or some of the,
or taking down a truck.
This is clean to them. I mean, they got one guy on the inside that can control the game. This is clean to them, right? I mean, this is real clean. Tim, as much as you spoke about Jordan, being the darling when you were there, was there anybody that was completely opposite of Jordan but was unjustly screwed with? Like, we kind of touched on Allen Iverson a little bit. Maybe some people didn't like him. You didn't have a problem with him, but is there was there Charles Barkley, or was there somebody that just during your era that guys just screwed with, and you're like, man, that guy really, for some reason, we're screwing with him, but I don't know why, because he's not that bad of a guy.
I mean, like I said before, it was positive and negative relationships. I mean, Barkley had problems with Mike Mathis, one of the older referees, where Mathis would always want to call offensive fouls on him constantly, and I would sit back and say, it's different when you're reffing his game versus when somebody else is reffing his game.
Now, would Barkley, that's terrible. Spice, how's it go?
That's terrible.
Terrible.
No,
Would
terrible.
he get in that guy's face and say, man, I mean, seriously?
Oh, yeah, there was, they had so many arguments that they had a meeting in the NBA league office where they had to sit both of them down to try to rectify the situation.
Wow. Did you ever, Larry Bird, I don't know if you know, but Larry Bird listens to this show and calls in all the time. I actually grew up with Larry's brother, Jeff, and know Larry quite well. Did you ever ref any Larry's games?
No, he
Was he out?
He was hurt, but I reffed a lot of games that he coached in.
What for the Pacers?
Yes.
Now, how did Larry work the? Because each we haven't even got to the coach side of things. Like how does Phil Jackson compare to Larry Bird? How does Larry Bird, and they all work, you guys, or have a different type of mantra with you guys? How does Larry? Because Larry likes to talk crap in real life. I mean, he'll just flat out say it. How was Larry as a coach talking to you?
He really was one of those guys that was a pleasure to referee because he didn't bitch at the referees. He just,
right.
Felt that his talent in playing or coaching was that so much more superior than other people that he was going to get it done that way. He wasn't one of those people that tried to get the benefit of calls by
Who's been the biggest bitcher? Like, who was the biggest whine ass? You're like, great, we got such and such tonight, Van Gundy, or we got who was the guy, the Brown guy?
Yeah,
Larry Brown. Was he the biggest dick of all?
Let me tell you something. He was
nerd too.
Relentless, and it was funny because I tell people this and wrote about it in the book that when we used to walk out onto the floor, we knew if his son was there and he was the ball boy that night that he wasn't going to scream and curse as much because his son was right by the bench.
Oh, really? So he might be dumbing it down a little bit.
Yeah, but when the kid wasn't there, you knew you were in for,
How about Phil Jackson? What was he like?
Phil Jackson's just kind of like a whiner, sarcastic, always making quick comments, never up really screaming and yelling.
Who's the biggest screamer? Brown?
Yeah, he was probably the biggest screamer.
How about Isaiah? I don't know if people know, but Larry I don't know if I should disclose this. Larry hates Isaiah in real life. Hates him.
I don't doubt it.
Hates him. How was Isaiah?
Isaiah,
Jive?
Man,
Tim Donaghy, man, what's going on around here, dog?
No, he was just trying to be a little bit of a conniver and trying to talk you into doing certain things. Wasn't a real big yeller and screamer.
What about Kobe Bryant? How was he?
Kobe just is always trying to look for that edge. Every chance he gets, he's always over whispering to you.
Now, Tim Donaghy, by the way, his book, it's been out. It's in its fifth publishing, correct?
Yeah.
It's called Personal Foul. He was an NBA referee for 13 seasons. Went and did federal time for, I wouldn't say point shaving, but it was more
giving some tips.
Well, fixing games. I mean, Tim, would you call it fixing games? I mean, what would you call it?
Wire fraud is.
I mean, I don't want to disrespect you. I mean, so wire fraud.
Right, transferring inside information over state lines.
Well, and also then having the ability to control that destiny as well, right?
No, that had nothing to do with it because not only did the NBA in their investigation, but the FBI in their investigation determined that at no time did I make calls in games to influence the spread.
Like, really? I mean, so, and do you stand by that, Tim?
Absolutely.
So you're saying that, you didn't necessarily, you used your inside based on the history of a particular team or player on how calls usually go, but you yourself didn't tic-tac a call onto a guy, and you were found not guilty of that.
Correct. It's not like, I would go and do the Lakers game and say, I'm going to put Kobe to the bench real quick in the first quarter so that he doesn't play. So therefore,
Well, you would be fired for that immediately.
Right. No, exactly.
I am always curious, though, when you see on TV, but you can't really hear what the players are saying to the refs. Like, what goes on generally in one of those conversations where the player and the ref are talking?
Like, when you said Kobe's always whining.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, exactly. Like, what's he saying?
Well, I would say, hey, Donaghy, man.
Like, how do they whine?
It's a situation where they're always begging for a call. I just got hit down the other end. You let it go. Now you come down this end and you call something. You owe me one. Make sure when we get down the other end, I go to the basket.
Now,
so they'll literally say, you owe me one.
Absolutely.
Now, will they call you? They all, because it's really kind of a close fraternity, and so they know you. They know your Tim, and they know your name. They know your last name, or they don't call you ref. They probably say Tim. I mean, do they address you like that, or do they just call you ref?
No, they address you by your first name, and they're always looking to get the benefit of that next play at the next end.
How about Artiste? Artest?
crazy is he?
Yeah, how insane is that guy?
He looks like he smokes a bag of weed before he plays. I can tell you that.
Does. He probably does. You know, we've had Rodman on the show a lot. Dennis listens to the show a ton. And did you ever ref Dennis? Because
Yes.
Dennis, man, is just shot out of a cannon.
Loved him. Great guy, a lot of energy. You know, really.
He didn't seem like a whiner kind of guy.
He wasn't. He was just one of those guys that wanted to grab rebound after rebound after rebound. Didn't care if he scored at all. Just was out there to be the rebound.
He was
champ.
tough, was he not?
Tough, yes.
He got on the air, Spice, 2 weeks ago and said, well, my first year, Larry owned me. But then I learned how to D up on that bitch, and that white boy didn't get much on me.
Figured out his game, yeah.
That's what he said.
Could you ever make heads or tails out of what Rodman was actually talking about?
No.
He is such a cool cat that we had him in studio sitting right where you are one time during the Super Bowl, and I said, Dennis, tell us like the craziest thing you ever did. He goes, well, one time I was in Sacramento, and my baby mama,
she was in the stands.
And that bitch knows not to go to the games because it was like from a woman that he wasn't with anymore.
Right.
But she had freaked him out. And he said, so she was there during warm-ups, and I was freaking out because that bitch knows better to be there. So I called my assistant and told him to have a Lear ready. And so I told Phil, I'm leaving. And I went to Vegas.
No, he got 2 tacks on purpose.
He goes, he got 2
tacks on purpose.
I got myself thrown out of the game as fast as I could. I had a Learjet. I went to Vegas. I missed 3 games. And he said, Phil Jackson, all zinned it out. Just called him and said, most coaches would be flipped out, right? He said, Dennis, do you ever feel like coming back to play basketball? Dennis like, yeah, coach, I'll be there maybe tomorrow. But he actually got himself thrown out of the ball game because his baby mama was in the front, first couple rows, and he got flipped out. I mean, I believe that story. You reffed him. Do you believe the story?
Oh, absolutely. I think that happens, from time to time where people want to just take a night off and maybe aren't feeling good, especially coaches and.
Now, this is really corny, Tim. It's from the movie Hoosiers. And Gene Hackman wants to get his team all riled up. Remember, Brady tells the referee, give me a tech, right?
Oh, yeah.
So the referee blows him a tech. Have you ever had a coach do that to you?
Yes.
Just say, hey, Donaghy, you stupid son of a bitch. Maybe you're not going to tech him out. And he says, give me an effing tech. Give me a tech. I mean,
no, a real calm. Gary St. Jean came up to me one time and said, we're getting our asses kicked. Next time down the floor, I want you to throw me out. And I looked at him and I said, well, I just can't throw you out. You got to say something. He goes, well, then I'm going to go nuts on you. I said, well, do it. He came down the floor, nothing really happened, and he just started going berserk on me. And I threw him out, and on the way out, real quick, he just whispered to me, he said, thanks.
So that stuff happens.
Absolutely.
I mean, what did he have to do? I mean, did he call your mama a wife? I mean, did he say something bad about your children? Or
he just screams and curses and throws his arms up and down. Nobody really knows what he's saying.
Now, what point do words get a guy thrown out? Because I mean, obviously, I know intentional fouls if a guy would grab you, but I mean, at what point do words get a guy thrown out?
Well, it's not necessarily throwing him out. It's a technical foul, and then once you get 2 technical fouls, then
you're out automatically.
You're out. Yeah, exactly.
But how much will you take? I guess is the question. Like, how much of that will you take before you're like, okay, you got a tech?
Baseball umpires will take a lot.
Yeah, I mean, they'll take the head bobbing
and the Fs and the Fs
and now
the Fs.
And then Madden likes to use his bill and get as close as he can to the head.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Some referees take a lot, and some referees don't take a lot. That's why they're so. There's such a big gap in what referees call and what they don't call, and that's a lot of the things that I would use in determining a point spread in these games based on what teams were playing, and it was what gave me an edge in placing a lot of winning bets.
Like just yesterday, I was watching.
By the way, Tim Donaghy in the studio today from his personal foul book. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was watching Dallas against the Nuggets. Dallas is up 2-1. They're at the Nuggets. They're winning big, and then the Nuggets it's like almost all of a sudden get every call, and they
Portland.
come up.
Portland.
Portland.
Yeah,
that's right. They were way down, and then all of a sudden they get every single call from the out of bounds to the fouls.
It's the Dick Bavetta rule.
To everything.
Exactly.
And they come all the way back, and then they win at the end.
Right, and win by 2.
And now it's tied.
The series is tied 2-2.
It's Dick Bavetta. Say it, Tim. It's Dick Bavetta.
It's not Dick Bavetta. It's more, he wasn't on that game, but.
But we can call it the Dick Bavetta theory, right?
And that's what it is, and that's what I educate Danny B a lot on, during these playoffs. And he just sits back and he's in amazement that I can look at a game tape and tell him what's going to take place in the next game because I know what the referees in the league are going to now look for and correct.
So, in your opinion, and if you can't answer because of probation, I understand. But in your opinion, Magic down 3-1 right now versus the Hawks. In your opinion, you know both teams. You watch them. Do you think that the Magic? Do you think it'll go 3-3 to Game 7?
Before the season series started, I said it was going to go 7, and Atlanta was going to win in 7. So that's something.
So you're still saying it, Hawks 7.
That's again, I got to be careful with coming out and making predictions. Based on what's going on. But visit the website dannyb.info and talk to his staff, and I'm certain that you'll get a lot of information.
Do you think Dwight Howard's out of Orlando? They're saying, and this isn't anything to do with scores or anything like that. This is just your opinion. But they're saying, a lot of insiders are saying that if they don't do it this year with Howard, the amount of money he's going to get in the free agent market is going to be astronomical, and he's gone. What's your opinion on the Dwight Howard? Now, his dad came on the news yesterday and said, I want him to stay in Orlando, but I don't think that matters.
Right. I mean, people wanted LeBron to stay in Cleveland, but you saw what he did. I think it's a situation where he's going to want to win championships, and he's got to be surrounded with the right team in the right situation and the right coach.
They're saying Lakers. Can you imagine the Lakers with that? I mean, Tim.
Oh, yes.
Can you? Baseball's flawed. Obviously, you know a lot about sport. The only sport really that's got the best cap would be the NFL. It's really not a lot of room around that cap. The baseball is a joke. I mean, look what the Yankees do every year. And basketball's supposed to have this cap.
It's a soft cap,
but they can get so far around it. Don't you find all that just absolutely a joke when the Lakers could actually get a Dwight Howard? I mean,
they did it a couple years ago when they got Pau Gasol. Everybody wanted to trade for him, and nobody could get him and fit him in under the cap. And all of a sudden, the Lakers could do it. I mean,
yeah.
Are you kidding me? Right when they needed that extra player to get to that next level, and next thing you know, they're winning championships.
I mean, but the NBA, man, could be like the NFL, where if they would have a hard cap, then it wouldn't be Celtics, Lakers. It wouldn't be that way. It would be, the Pacers maybe once in a while, the Bucks. God, poor Milwaukee.
Right. I don't think me and you are going to see the Pacers and the Bucks in the NBA Finals for a while.
First of all, they're in the same division. You're right, but I mean, I don't think you're going to see. I don't think you're going to see Portland versus the Pacers anytime soon. Now, are you?
No, definitely not.
Whatever happened to that big Oden kid? Did
Greg Oden?
What you probably were already gone by then?
Yeah, he just has never been healthy, injury after injury, and it's kind of a shame because I think if
what a wasted first rounder too.
If Portland could get him on the floor and he could, give them any kind of push at all, they got some talent on that team.
Who was your favorite guy to referee, player wise? Like, who was your favorite?
I really liked David Robinson. He was just a class act.
Yeah.
The Admiral.
Yeah, every night you saw him, there was nothing different. And I'll never forget. I
didn't bitch about calls.
Well, no, he didn't. And I'll never forget. I really missed a call on him one night, and he turned around and he said, looked at me and he gave me a little bit of grief because I got caught behind him and I didn't see it. And he came up to me and I told him, I said, hey, listen, I apologize. I missed it. I got caught in a stack behind somebody. He just tapped me and he said, don't worry about it. It happens.
So,
Kept on going.
That stuff happens. I mean, where you could say, hey, listen, I blew it, bud.
Right.
I blew it.
Right. You'll get a response from him like that, or you're going to get a response like, you son of a bitch, you better not miss the next one.
Let me ask you another question. Not that you're a pro pitcher, and I've had people like David Wells and other people in here, and Spice, and even late great Joe Kennedy, God bless him.
Right.
And they never give me the answer. It's like this, but why don't, just like you're an NBA referee, former, and if you blew a call against Robinson and you said, hey, buddy, I blew it. And, the reaction from the guy is one way or the other, but at least you manned up and said, I blew it. Why don't the pitchers in baseball, because there's some that get away from them, that they don't mean to hit the guy, and then there's some that they do mean to be in the guy, but Brent, I'd say 50% of them get away.
Exactly.
Get away from them. And why don't they just say, hey, tip their hat when they're on first and say, they don't even got to say they're sorry. Just give them some kind of acknowledgement to let them know it got away from me. Much like you did. You blew a call against a guy. It could be a sixth foul. Whatever it could be. There's a lot riding on that call. Why don't they do that? And Spice, I know you're going to chime in as well because you know a lot about baseball. But Tim, what's your opinion on the deal?
My opinion is they want that fear in that batter that they may get hit the next time up, and they want them on their back heels. And if they let them know that it was a mistake and you're sorry, I think that takes that fear edge away.
Spice, are you going to say
that's
then
true?
That would also acknowledge when they do. If they did do that, then that would acknowledge when they're meaning to do it.
Well, I would say this, that you say half of them are mistakes. I would differ with that. I would say maybe 1 out of 10 is a mistake.
Oh, okay.
I mean, those pitchers are pinpoint accuracy. I mean, look at where they're putting the ball. Look at that little box where they're able to put the ball.
Well, but they wouldn't walk 6 batters a game if they were pinpoint accurate.
Right.
But there's a difference between walking a batter and giving them chin music and hitting them.
But like, for instance, I saw a Newman or whatever the guy's name is.
Neiman
a couple nights ago with the Rays. I was at the ball game and he hit a guy and he was so pissed at himself. You could tell he was pissed because there was no. First of all, it was in the second. It was in the second inning, and it didn't make any sense it was 0-0.
Yeah, I mean, sure, I mean, there are
but
those that are going to get away.
He was pissed. He didn't.
But I think, like Tim
"Damn it."
said, too, is you can't really ever really apologize. It's just part of the. It's just part
Tim
of the
did.
code.
Part of the game.
Tim did. I mean, Tim said, "I'm sorry. I mean, I blew the call."
Well, that's a whole different deal. He's a ref.
But you can tell, like, if a guy's down 1-2 and he gets hit, you know it got away from him.
I got to tell you this, Tim. From all the biggest dick of referees are baseball referees. They're the biggest ass wipes ever. You know, NBA referees. I watch but they seem pretty cool. Football referees are pretty cool. We got Ed Hockey with the big ass pipes,
lifts.
But
the
baseball referees are the biggest dicks going. Do you have any opinion as to what group of referees in what particular sports are the cockiest? I say baseball.
I think they are the cockiest, and I think that the league's trying to get them away from that because it's a situation where they don't want that confrontation on TV like they've had in the past and the argument. So,
did you feel for the guy last year that blew the no-hitter for the guy?
Yeah, terrible.
I did.
Perfect game.
Absolutely awful. That
perfect game. But you know what? I didn't think. He.
See, that would never happen in the NBA because they're very well aware of what's going on and. That would have been a star-studded situation where they would have made it.
And you guys have instant replay, too. I mean, you guys can go check the monitor as well. You have that liberty. I don't know why baseball doesn't have that.
Because Bud Selig.
Bud Selig is a dick, and he's ruining the game.
It's coming to it.
He says 1955, living in Wisconsin. That's the rules we're playing by forever, buddy.
And here's the deal, man. I don't think that referee or that umpire could have handled it any better. That guy, I mean, he went from being a dick to everybody feeling sorry for him just based on him doing the right thing,
right?
Owning it. And I felt sorry for the guy the next day. He was crying and everything.
I was going to say, Tim, how do you even get into becoming a ref? I mean, where's the farm system for that? Like, what do you do? What's the protocol?
Down at the pizza joint, and he tells you.
But because Bruce Benedict, he was the longtime catcher for the Atlanta Braves back when they were on TBS. Used to play catch. Now he's one of the main referees for the SEC in basketball. I mean, how does he go from being a catcher in the baseball to a referee?
It's just getting into their training program.
How did you do it, Tim?
When I came up, it was the CBA, and it was. Now,
did you start off doing Little League and things like that first?
I did. I started, grade school, high school, and I worked my way up into the CBA.
Were you fixing games in grade school? Hey, the Pee Wee teams historically tends to have a good first quarter.
I got that parent in the stand yelling at me.
I actually did have a guy.
Salvatore's his dad's with me.
I had a guy send me an email the other day saying that he was refereeing like grade school games, and somebody came up and offered him a bribe to make sure his kid's team was unbelievable.
My Lord. Tim Donaghy, it's called Personal Foul. First-person account of the scandal that rocked the NBA world. He actually did federal time for this. Was cleared of not making calls, but was not cleared of having an inside track to how games could possibly go or the mob. Tim, thank you. This worked out so much better you coming here today than doing it on the phone, and I've been trying to get a hold of you for a while. I knew that you lived locally, and we're kind of guys. We bet. And we watch sports. And
not after I read this book.
Britt was so mad. He came. He goes, I can't even watch this effing game no more because of Donaghy.
Right. Well, if you guys are,
we have this ongoing rib. We'll be watching NBA, and Britt will go, "There's Donaghy right there, screwing the game up."
Right.
I can't. I will never bet ever again on NBA, NFL, on anything. After knowing
Donaghy got you on that one. That's what we'll say.
Donaghy got me.
I would say bet, but just follow Donaghy, man. I mean, he knows what's going on.
Yeah. Follow Danny B. Go to www.dannyb.info and he'll help you out.
Brent, better way, just go to dannyb.info, my friend. That's all you need, my friend. You got to know how to work. You got to know how to work it. Tim, thank you so much for coming by, my friend. Do you plan on a book after this, or what's next for Tim Donaghy?
I think that right now I'm just trying to hang out with my kids, my 4 daughters down in Sarasota.
How much longer probation?
About 15 months.
And then after that, can you do different things after that?
Yeah, much different. So it's just a matter of getting through these last 15 months.
Have you been approached by anybody that would want to do, make this film or make some type of doc on the deal?
I have. There's some things in the works, but nothing concrete right now. And a lot of these sports handicappers have offered me an enormous amount of money to go live and make picks for them. But,
right.
Danny B has just been one of those down-to-earth people that really takes pride in what he does. And, he's like a stockbroker. He advises people and takes pride in building relationships with them. And that's
DannyBinfo.net?
DannyB.info.
DannyB.info.
.info.
Yep. Let's put, for as a courtesy to Tim, let's put that up on our website.
Okay.
As a rotator, also where they can buy the book.
Sure.
Online, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, all that, Tim.
Amazon's the best way to get it. It's again, it's in another printing and
Fifth.
in and out of
Tim.
the bookstore. So
I got the over/under on 7 now. Come on, work with me.
What do you got? Over or under?
I got the over on 6, so I needed to go to 7, my friend.
Let's do it.
I got a nick on it. Tim, thank you so much, my friend.